pass this treaty so the UN actually controls the guns that we have, okay, and the flow of guns and the sale of guns. Now, Congress shuts it down, but if they change it to where it's just a majority of Congress voting for it, they might actually pass that gun treaty.
I mean,
you're right.
We're already in a civil war.
Yeah.
It's the Civil War.
We're in a war zone right now.
I'm just telling you that they have many angles. They're not attacking one angle.
I know that they have millions of different angles that they can play, but what I'm saying is the angles that they think that they're going to play, they are already playing, and they've already like cornered the whole board.
Yeah.
The board is
experts.
What?
We need experts. We need people that can be experts in certain fields. And they get the information out. They gather people around them.
I must say, like, you know, people call me an expert, but like, it's not hard to be an expert on how the international banking cartel functions. So like,
it's like
what I do to like, you know, disseminate the information, I'm attacked for by lots and lots of people. And I'll tell you, the only one who has any bit of pull that will put any of this information out there is the Iranian government. So there you have it.
Well, that's why there's such a threat to our government, to the New World Order. The bankers want to control Iran.
Right.
Is it like one of three nations that
Iran actually has been hanging their bankers. Now, I think we should all decide what we do to...
I would say hang them.
I don't like hanging, you know, but they at least need to be arrested. And when I say at least, I'm saying that's what I mean. They at least need to be arrested. If people decide that they have to be executed for treason, then so be it. But they at least need to be arrested.
How many people they've killed in these wars for themselves that ain't benefited nothing.
It's all made up too. They make up lies, which under the law, that's an additional crime. So they have like the crime of treason. They have the crime of, you know, using, you know, United States military, United States taxpayer dollars.
Good innocent kids are dying all the time.
Right.
Man.
And they don't even declare a war. There's not a lawful war. And they never ended the wars that they started in the first place. The United States military is still in Japan and Germany. Is that a free country if you have an occupying force? So what are they, you know, they firebomb, you know, Japan and Germany, and then they're like, guess what? You know, you have the same people running things now, but you just have like a foreign military force in your country. It never ended. When do these people come home from World War II? Isn't World War II over?
Right.
There were mass demonstrations in Japan saying like they want the United States military out of their country. They don't want any more like nuclear attacks and freaking, you know, out of control, like, you know, mercenaries for the New World Order raping their teenage daughters. So they wanted to kick the American military out, which is only the military arm of the Federal Reserve Bank. It's not the military arm of the people.
Yeah.
Treason! Treason is not cool. It's not cool at all. Don't pretend like you don't hear. It's not cool. You know, and that's the problem. People are allowed to get away with their shit without being called on it. Fuck all these people that work at the Federal Reserve Bank.
Yeah,
they can eat shit. They are like, if there is like a subsection of where somebody works that is the problem, it's like right here. If you work at Dominion Power, you're part of the fucking problem. If you work at the Federal Reserve Bank, you're even a bigger part of the problem. So
I'm glad I got a little electricity, but I think the rates are too high.
But it doesn't, you know what? Just
free energy.
there's free electricity.
Free energy.
They're not giving us electricity. They're harnessing it that they don't own and then charging us outrageous rates.
Destroying the earth like Fukushima.
Yeah.
In the name of
We're the end of nuclear power plant. We don't even have to talk about
Go
Fukushima.
back to where it was before
Yeah, we got a
electricity.
local Fukushima.
We ought to just burn wood in our fireplaces and burn oil.
We just use free
yeah,
energy
burn
now, so
oil.
the people
They
for
made
free.
burning wood.
Tesla, man.
We'll just burn wood.
had that
we'll
for
just
a
burn
while.
oil. That's all natural.
What? We could just burn all
Burn
wood.
coal.
Or
Everybody will be
how about
warm.
this?
There'll be smokestacks on every house.
But there already is. I mean,
Layer of smoke
hey,
over
guess
the
what?
We got down the mountain.
Hey,
I was
John.
living in North Carolina.
What do you think powers all of the power plants that give us electricity? Smokestacks
Yeah, but
from
they
coal.
got these scrubbers that scrub out most of the pollution. That's
Bullshit.
good, man.
That's ridiculous.
They
That's
do.
just not true.
There's way more cleaner
I've seen it,
energy.
man.
Hey,
They're
how's
up
it
there
going?
scrubbing.
We should not be using coal or nuclear in 2013.
Yeah.
We should have been using it 100 years ago.
So yeah, I mean,
I'm for free enterprise. I think there's a problem when you have monopolies.
but there is no free enterprise.
When you got monopolies like
We have
Dominion,
mass slavery.
you know,
Right.
you can't choose another electric company.
Right.
You know, and it's a problem. You ought to be able to choose. Why is it a monopoly?
Because that's the way the system is set up.
You know, whenever there's a monopoly,
That's a monopoly,
you get inferior
and that's a
service.
monopoly.
You get
Why
high
is it?
prices,
Because that's the way they set it up.
and you get trampled on.
Yeah, that's like fucking, like, that's Boardwalk
This is
and
a monopoly right here.
the other one
Monopoly?
next
Monopoly. That's like what I said.
to it. Boardwalk and Park Place.
You know, and there's all sorts of different monopolies. Like everybody carves out their own niche. They just say, we're not a monopoly. We just have a niche of controlling the economy of every single country on the planet.
And everybody pretty much is in jail. If you're playing Monopoly, everyone's in the jail.
That's right. Go
Trying to
jail.
get free, rolling dice.
Not pass go.
Yeah, pretty much. We're all in jail. That's like the Boardwalk.
Oh, they shut the gates. Oh shit.
I can't get out. Oh no.
They're on lockdown.
No.
There's 5 people outside that are pissed. With armed with cameras and voices. Quick, call in the Homeland Security. They might scream too loud.
Well, they really, since the I guess it was State Capitol Police and the Federal Reserve Bank Security or Federal Reserve Bank Police started, you know, this Federal Reserve Bank. According to media reports, they had plots to assassinate Occupy leaders. I don't know. They told us there weren't any Occupy leaders, but I did get contacted by this guy named Lieutenant James Lane from the Capitol Police weeks before I knew anything about Occupy Wall Street or Occupy Richmond, and that was unusual. And you know, the Federal Reserve Bank Police, you know, Silver's been down here. I mean, we've all been down here a number of times to these things. You know, we see them. We see the Federal Reserve Bank Police. I see them following me around town. You know, so you know,
I've been more tailed helping with your campaign than I've been in years.
That's right. You're not right enough.
well, I think.
Like they went nuts. Like when I started following you, airplanes.
Well, I mean, like I said,
cars.
we get it all on
Cops.
camera. They can't say we're making it up
Yeah.
because
Well, they
you
still
know,
do.
well,
you get it on
do.
film and they say, well,
That-
you're making it up.
Yeah, right. What did they do to that Secret Service thing? Where the
Yeah, they took it
freaking
down.
Secret Service goons, after, listen to what these fucking jokers did. They went into my neighborhood, started harassing my neighbors. One of my neighbors, next door neighbors, I think she would technically be termed elderly. She has a Yorkshire Terrier. They forced their way into her freaking house and then told her to put her dog in the other room. And she said, no. And she said,
Like, how about you
why
get
are you
over
going
about
around asking questions about Chris Dorsey?
Yeah.
You already know who he is.
Yeah, right.
Why are you doing? They thought that they could intimidate this old lady because that's what
They're
these
trying to
punk ass bitches. That's what these punk ass bitches do. And guess
wanna
what
turn
the
your
next
neighbors
thing that
against
they
you.
did
That's
is
what pisses
this can be
them off. Turn
edited
the
out.
block against
This
you.
can be edited out and put separately. Guess what else these punk bitches from the Secret Service did? The punk ass bitches from the Secret Service that were harassing my neighbors, making up bullshit lies about some sort of bullshit, letter that they received. after they came and harassed me coming up to my door, they filed a privacy complaint with YouTube, saying that I was violating the privacy of the Secret Service, who was harassing me and harassing my neighbors, and I was standing
in public.
They were standing in public after I kicked them off my family's house.
I saw a video, you did it though.
So that's what I have to say to the Secret Service bitches.
Yeah, bitches.
You're fucking bitches because you pick on old ladies and you pick on people who uphold the Constitution of the United States. Because all you are, Secret Service, is an errand boy for grocery store clerks, and your clerks are the operators of the Federal Reserve Bank. So you guys...
Bunch of hound dogs outside the
Well, they were recording you too. The guy with the briefcase had a camera in it. He was holding it, and so how can they claim privacy?
Oh yeah, they're filming right now
your
from the
privacy.
satellite.
They can. That's what a bitch does. A bitch claims whatever a bitch wants to claim, and a bitch operates in a system where they don't have to prove shit, they just have to say it. Because a lie doesn't have to be good, it only has to get in the way of telling the truth.
And repeat it often.
And repeat it often. Right. So after they say, hey, this guy, we're going to try to make up some bullshit on Chris Dorsey and intimidate him and get him to try to stop and freak everybody out. Then we're going to, send dozens of people around his house and all this other BS.
That's how they got Cooper. They made that shit up on him. That wasn't even real.
Guess what? These people got on camera, and then they got on the Channel 6 News. And then they were like, well, you violated our privacy. When we started harassing you and your neighbors, you exposed us for harassing you and your neighbors. That's violating our privacy right. Quit your treason. Quit it. It's not cool. I can tell when you hear me because you look away. So,
now, did they come after you after the election or before the election?
Before.
The Secret Service.
this was the second time between the time that they were usually officially announced the ballot that they attempted to arrest me. Harvey Powers from the Richmond Police Department attempted to arrest me before they announced the ballot. That didn't work. That backfired. And then the Secret Service came by my house. I think that was June 25th, June 26th, something like that. But I mean, we can check back on the date. I'm not sure exactly, but again, they were manipulating and intimidating and harassing a candidate for office multiple times.
Yeah.
Harvey Powers interrupted me while I was campaigning at a public event at the Satellite restaurant. Asked me for my gun license. I said, let me get my camera and then you can ask me again. And then he got all silent and mums the word. And then the Secret Service came by asking me if I had weapons. And, saying that I'm threatening these freaking scrubs like Barack Obama, Bobby Scott, C.T. Woody, who there's video evidence of one of his deputies assaulting me days before the Secret Service came by the house. Who else? Bobby Scott, Mike Harris. Oh, Mayor Demon Dwight Jones. Mayor Dweeman. Man, he's a joke. These people are jokes.
Clowns.
They're clowns. They are, got their doctorate degree from clown college. They are absolute jokes. They have no honor whatsoever. So,
better sensor on that.
I don't know. Did you see anything about the JFK assassination? I mean, I think that's kind of what the national people who are putting this out, and the timing's pretty accurate about the silver certificates that in Executive Order 11110. Do you know anything about that?
Not much. I've heard about it, but
basically, people differ on the value, but Kennedy signed an executive order putting in silver certificates backed by silver and issued by the Treasury into circulation, and that most people think that I think have any sort of logical idea think that is why that he was assassinated. And his speech on secret societies, where he says basically, hey, there's a monolithic group of bankers that control everything, and they do so through secrecy and so we found it ironic, and we wanted to point out to everybody who has a camera down here, and I'm gonna get that they got the flag at half staff, but what we pretty much said to them is that you're the guys that. It's the Federal Reserve Bank that directed the assassination plot against Kennedy, and it was clear it's because Kennedy wanted to uphold the Constitution, and he wanted to take the power away from the money changers. Like other great American presidents, like Madison and Jefferson, but especially Jefferson. But I guess Madison wrote Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. So, but pretty much all our founding fathers, they knew that by allowing international bankers to control the economy of the United States, that would be the downfall of our country, and we would lose all of our rights. And guess what? We've lost all of our rights. As a whole, individuals still retain rights. I'm still exercising my constitutional rights. I'm standing out in front of the Federal Reserve Bank that controls the government, and I'm saying man, these people need to be arrested, and everybody who is involved in political activism and that does not focus on the Federal Reserve Bank, they're basically nothing more than just kind of like a controlled tool of the Federal Reserve Bank.
Either that or just ignorant of the issue.
Well, in any event, they're still controlled tools.
Well, not necessarily. I know a lot of people that are involved with, let's say, pro-life or other conservative issues. They just don't understand the Federal Reserve, the nature of the Federal Reserve.
Right. They hate abortion, but they're basically just tools. They're not even smart enough to figure out how to get their tax dollars to stop being funding
against.
Right. But they're all passion and no brain then. Right.
Heck, I didn't really know about the true nature of the Federal Reserve until about 5 years ago.
Right. Until that point, you were a tool of controlled opposition then.
Unknowingly, probably.
Yeah.
Right. I'm saying that I definitely, when I was, being used as a tool of the Democratic Party, that I was a tool of the Federal Reserve Bank.
We're all brainwashed, and when you start up, your mind starts realizing what's going on. You start realizing the facts. But you're starting to come out of the matrix. And
we're coming out of the matrix, but everybody in Occupy Richmond, they were told how everything functions from the beginning of Occupy Richmond till the end. And there were people within that group, and they're string pullers, number one, I think off the top of my head, we can start naming them. Alan Shintzes, Phil Wilato,
bunch of bitches.
Alan Levenberg, who are some of the other ones? What's that guy? Alex Pagluka, whatever the fuck his name is. A bunch of people there fed tools. And a lot of these guys, they know it. They know they're spreading misinformation because that's what they do to get paid. That's what they get paid to do. That's what they are. So this is what controls the money. Everything stems from that point. A baseball stadium, that doesn't mean shit. A fucking baseball stadium.
Yeah, he does.
The Federal Reserve Bank, they build, hundreds of stadiums right now across the world. That's just a little distraction. Nothing's gonna stop these people. Everything's getting worse for the people now. Why is everybody worried about what happened, 150 years ago? Why don't these people worry about what's happening now? That the people, they're getting jobs. they're being debt slaves to the Federal Reserve Bank. These people, they don't care about that. They only want to attack the people who expose the truth. Is that suspicious? I'm very suspicious of these people, so it doesn't matter. I'm saying this shit into a camera.
I mean,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like,
conscious of what they're doing, or are they just stupid?
I would say that when I directly tell somebody exactly what they're doing, they become conscious of that. Now, they may be prideful and not want to hear what I have to say and disregard what I have to say, but I'm consciously saying something to them, and it's being communicated in the most conscious manner for, I would say, comprehensible manner for people who communicate in plain English.
Yeah.
Because that's what I communicate in plain English. So I'm gonna read this now, talking about plain English, and zoom out on this camera. Is it? It's right. Okay. So we're speaking about talking, communicating in plain English. So we're standing in front of the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond, and it is November 22nd, 2013. I'm about to read a memorandum. It's up online. Please share it, spread it. It's being communicated as closely as I can to that treasonous piece of human waste, Jeffrey Lacker, who's president of the Richmond Federal Reserve Bank, and now I'll talk in official capacity. It's a memorandum. It's to Richmond Federal Reserve President Jeffrey Lacker and the owners of the Bank for International Settlements. And it's from we, the free people of Virginia, Maryland, West Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. It's dated 11/22/2013. This is regarding treason. Because it is the anniversary of the Federal Reserve Bank directed assassination of John F. Kennedy, there will be a demonstration at the Richmond Federal Reserve, 901 East Bird Street, from 4 to 7 p.m. We will give a directive that the tyranny and treason will end. The privately owned, foreign-controlled Federal Reserve Bank creates money, which is actually only debt, out of nothing, and enslaves the people through bonds, taxes, and interest paid directly to the owners of the central banks. This is not only unjust, it also violates Article 1, Section 8, Article 1, Section 10, Article 3, Section 3, and Article 4, Section 4 of U.S. Constitution. Today, there is a nationwide End the Fed rally that will be held today, November 22nd. People from around the region will gather at the foot of the Richmond Federal Reserve Bank. Several of us are doing that. We're from all around the region. I guess mostly the city of Richmond, but Chesterfield and Colonial Heights as well. We will be demanding the abolishment of the unlawful bank and the rightful control of American financial policy given to we the people. Here's the last part. This is very important. And my words, as always, I choose them carefully, I should say. Your crimes are now common knowledge, and your fig leaf has been removed. There is no legitimacy in your actions, and you are fugitives from the law of the land, the U.S. Constitution, which we referenced earlier. We are directing you through authority of the law to renounce your treasonous actions and turn yourselves in to those which all power in government is derived. That's a statement. People can sign on to that statement. That's my personal statement to the owners and officers of the Richmond Federal Reserve Bank and its controlling entity, the Bank for International Settlements. And that's all we can do at this point. We should have 10,000 people here with guns surrounding this bank. You know, that's the only way that the government will ever be improved. But most people, you know, they're in on the crime. They're too stupid to know what's going on. They're too immoral to comprehend what's going on. They have no honor. Our society is morally bankrupt. There's a number of different reasons, but that's it. I'm standing down here. You know, I ran for sheriff on the platform that when we do get in control of the jails and the guns, this will be the first stop. This will be the first place we stop. And that all those who swear an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and call themselves law enforcement, they don't know the first gosh darn thing about the law, and they don't care to learn anything about it, or they're the worst kind of treacherous traitors to their own people and everything that good and honest people hold dear. And come out here and freaking man up. Quit being such cowardly bitches. Quit hiding in the shadows, because we'll come and we'll smoke you out. You know how we like to smoke out? We'll smoke you out, bitches. So, that's about it. People need to be told. They need to be told like this shit. They need to be called out by their fucking names. Their fucking bitch ass punk bitch names. And what else is there to do? I mean, if people don't know all that we're saying about how money functions, controls everything, they don't know shit. They're dumbasses. A lot of people lie to themselves though, and a lot of people are like duplicitous. They like say one thing and they do another. Mm-hmm. They have no honor. Mm-hmm. They have no dignity. They have no respect for the planet or their fellow human being. That's a big problem. It's like a really big problem. And like, so we're out here and there's five of us. There was six. Oh yeah, well he's the boss. He's directing the thing, so like, you know, you don't count him.
Gotta have a mascot.
You know, speaking of InfoWars, when I met Alex Jones, he wouldn't really acknowledge me. He only acknowledged Keekers. So I find that funny now. Keekers is a political tool. I've been slandered by undercover feds or fed tools like what's her name? Kat McNeil. She's another. Hey, what's up, bitch? Hey, I'm talking to you.
He said no. He likes that in the Fed. He likes it.
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
Oh wow, in the Fed.
Right. Where was he coming out of? I don't know.
Walking down the street.
He was walking up the street.
I don't know. Anyway.
People are waking up to the Federal Reserve.
But that's not true because
he's partly
each.
People like
You should just came over and had a conversation if he cared that much. Take 5 minutes off his walk to the bar. engage in conversation or something.
He probably just
Show
freaking
support.
came out of Midwest Banco. So like, I seriously doubt that he's
he gets-
thinking.
Yeah, it
when he
sounded very
works right
mockery.
beside-
It sounded very mocking.
He was, of course, he was mocking.
And
Like, I knew
then
it.
he said to the other guys, like, yeah, that was cool. It sounded like Beavis and Butthead walking down the fucking street.
Well,
No, a lot of people want to end the film. A lot of people now are learning.
where are they?
Friday night, man. They're out taking the wife to dinner. That's what I got to do.
Then they don't want to end the Fed then.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, they have a ribeye. That's how they get people, man. It's the five senses, the TV, man. Everybody puts like food and fucking, I don't know, like lotion and back.
They have no
massages.
honor. They don't. They
television is like more important. It's
Most people are full of shit.
Well, some people, a lot of people
Most
actually,
people are full of shit in my mind.
most people are real fired up
Self-gratification
on
for
their
yourself.
own issue. All
Right,
their
and-
own issue. And they'll get real fired up about whatever their issue is. Like the Federal Reserve and the banking, that's your issue. That's one of my issues. Okay? When it comes to their issue, if you're not on board with them, they think you're nuts. You're crazy. For instance, the pharmaceutical companies, the FDA, and
Who
the powers
controls
that be, they actually want cancer to just help depopulate
kidding.
the population.
That's money.
These
They can
companies
cure
are
any
keeping-
disease. The
So
government's
who's
doing all
arguing
the cure
against
any
that?
disease.
Well, wait,
John, who doesn't know that? Who knows how the Federal Reserve
Well,
Bank functions?
that's one of my wife's main issues that she's really fired up about. Okay, but some people they really don't care about it. She'll tell people, "Oh, yeah, that's bad." They don't do anything about it, right?
Because most people are
Most
full of
people
shit and
have
they don't
their
do
own
anything about
issue.
anything.
And they think if you're not on board with their issue, you're just crazy or stupid or
Well,
whatever.
I think that programming that people have is pretty much to care, like to get fired up at things that are irrelevant or not as important. And then when you talk about things that are important, they don't not really worried about because they don't really understand the
Actually-
true nature of everything.
That's really piggybacking on what you said. Most people, they're not taking their wives out to dinner. They don't care about this. They're watching fucking football. They think
Well,
that
yeah,
it's
but most people are lazy.
they're well they have to work to spend money to go to a
Most people
football
don't.
game.
They care
have
about
to-
Miley
have to work.
Cyrus. Like Miley Cyrus got like 100 times more attention than like that war they're trying to do
I gotta take off.
on the internet.
All right, John.
It's been fun.
Well, I'm
I
glad
have
you
fun when I
stopped
go
by.
out to do these things. By the way,
Yeah, thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks,
yeah.
John.
good to see you.
Appreciate it.
I agree
yeah.
with your. I agree with your directive.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming
Yeah.
out. Hell yeah. What's up?
Yeah, I'll accept for the part where you hang them and dismember them, And
But that's not
No,
in the
listen.
directive.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding with.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not into dismembering people. That's not what I'm into.
I'm just kidding with.
Yeah, I'm not a violent person, as people know. People attack me constantly, but
You wear the Grateful Dead hat half the time.
but I don't attack people. I don't physically attack people, but I will defend myself. However I have to do that. But I'm not a violent person. I'm not
no.
interested in hanging people or,
Well,
or
we-
dismembering them.
We do a lot of stuff. I'm with the Tri-Cities Liberty Alliance. I run the group, and we have a lot of fun. So we go out to a lot of these different. We're involved with lots of issues, and this is a real important issue. That's why I'm here. I'm disappointed we didn't get more of our folks out here. Well, Chris, you're in the group. He's in a lot of groups, but he's one of the guys.
I go to any place where people are interested in more than surface level bullshit politics. When people are interested in something other than the provable lies, that's where I'll go. I'll go to talk to anybody. I mean, I've got to. What else is there to do? I mean, how can anybody really know about this stuff and not say something to everyone? I mean, what I know is why this supersedes every other issue is because that's the monetary source for everything.
That's a big one.
It's the thing that controls.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It funds every war. It funds every pharmaceutical company. It funds every healthcare company. And that bank is controlled by the same institution that controls all the other banks in the world. So there are no actual countries anymore. That's so obvious.
We're in the New World Order, man.
It's here.
People
Martial
are like,
law is here.
the coming to us, yeah.
We're living under martial law, and they're just allowing us to be out here because they know there'll be bad consequences for certain people if they don't allow us to be out here.
Well, there's a saying this great man once said. And it's this: we're not your slaves.
Yeah,
That's right.
No doubt.
Amen.
Still in.
That's a good one. So, I don't know. I guess, what do people think? Like, does anybody, like, we want to have, like, questions? Like, we got to do something. We're doing something, I guess, but, like, I feel the need that, some of us, we put effort into getting down here, so we might as well, like, make the most of it. So, like,
I feel like
what should we do?
pretty much everybody here pretty much about knows everything that's going on.
But we got cameras, so
Yeah.
like, what are we gonna communicate out to the cameras? Like, this will be part of like that movie that we're making.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the movie we're making? We the People, the movie. It's all those like YouTube clips, like put together, like of all the stuff that we do. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like, Greg. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't. You know Glenn, right? Don't you, Silver? So this is Glenn.
I had long hair.
Okay.
And this is Greg. He's my buddy Silver. So, we were talking. Like we were talking like out on the back porch, and you were saying like, hey, we know how to make any kind of movie we want. We've seen it done. We got cameras, so we can do it. And then Greg, who was like working with us, like when we were running for.
I talked to him earlier for 5 hours. We're cool again.
Yeah, that's cool. They were like, they were like a little camera crew that came around during the campaign.
Cool.
And like, halfway through, Greg says, we got to make a movie. People won't believe this stuff that's happening. They won't believe, these elections officials. They won't believe that the sheriff of a town is so scared that he won't even show up at his own event. And he runs like 15 cop cars deep, and he looks like a
It's
freaking...
me, you, and Emmanuel. That's it. There's
It's like 3 people.
Cops with like guns, AKs in the trunk, and
Yeah.
they're just like, oh god, there's 3 guys
They're
with cameras.
And they're such bitches, and they know that the system is so fixed that they don't even have to face their opponents.
And they won, like they swept the election.
Swept through it. Dominated. The person who came in second place endorsed me hours before the freaking election. So, I mean, it's done. I mean, I can convince people, and it's not me convincing them. It's somebody else's facts. It's God's facts. It's the it's.
The universe know everything.
The universe's facts.
Eventually,
I
like,
just
the
will
universe
display it to people, and I mean,
Yeah,
I'll tell
enough's
them. But every time I say something, like I make sure that I know what I'm talking about before I say it. And each time after I say it, I show evidence of what I'm talking about. And then all these people who allege that they want.
Right on.
You're part of the problem.
So every time that one of these people pretends like that they're like, on behalf of the people, or like socialist or communist or populist or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, they're shown that they're nothing but operating within the system. They love to operate within the system. And that's all they do. And they're just full of dog shit. They come up with no proof. They slander. They lie. That's dishonorable. I don't have anything to do with anybody dishonorable, because like,
a lot of these people, man, like it seems like they just watch like one documentary on something and then they just take it for face value and run with it, but they don't research deeper into or like segments of a documentary. There's a lot of these compiled documentaries that talk about the Federal Reserve and then this and that, and it's like they just like look at it and they're like, okay, and they take it and they just like run with it. They just run with it. They don't research like deeper into it or look at the other sides of it, or maybe parts of that documentary's misinformation, and they don't go far enough to decipher that, so they get solidified off one movie, one clip, and that's done, and then they're set the rest of their life, and they come out to protest and things, and they're just like, oh, I saw this one movie, and then it's like they ain't got the whole story, and it's just dumb, and it's annoying trying to reach those people.
that's it. That's what they do, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what controlled opposition is, because like they really don't want, they don't really want, to stand up. They don't want to have a serious opposition. They want to work within the system. The people want to work within the system. I know how the system works, so that means I definitely never want to work within this system because I know what this system's all about. So I want to have as little to do with the system as I possibly can. That means I'm not going to pretend like I'm a defender of the people and say, oh, hey, I'm working to get people health care. That's not health care, that's death care. You know, they want to freaking mandate vaccinations to people. That's fine. Don't inject people with freaking flu virus and freaking poison metals, and show that this actually works. Keith, you got your pillow over there, buddy.
Man, remember on election day, like we had 2 representatives at the polls, like 90 polls, and then like me and you both got harassed by police and threatened to be arrested and all kinds of stuff, while like all the other supporters are doing whatever they want for the other candidates. Right. I mean, that was a pretty big thing. That kind of was just like messed up. We have 2 people, and they had to call cops on both of us. By the time I went from the pole I was promoting at, I get to your pole, and I have to run back to my car and get the camera because a cop with blue lights is pulling up.
Well, I would like to say that exactly what happened was they started saying that we had to be 40 feet away from the door. And then I said, well, we're about 80 feet away from the door right now.
Yeah, that was yours.
And then this guy I said
this is the door right here. It's like a staircase.
I said that's a stair. I know what the difference between a stair and a door is. Then there were a number of things that happened. Then 5-0 pulls up, speeding up with their lights on, and you grabbed your camera, got right up on them, you know, within inches of the dashboard, got the plates, and then started putting the camera in their face, and they laughed like they thought it was funny. This shit's not funny. We're not playing around.
Yeah.
And then he starts asking me, you know, he's like, you got to do this, and you got to do that. I'm like, well, under what authority? And he starts, well, I guess you work for Dorsey, and I guess, you know, you're here. And he's kept trying to get my name, so I wouldn't tell him my name. I don't know. He's got to tell me under what authority he has. All this other guy says is he manages the elections at Retreat Hospital, and that he doesn't know what the difference between a fucking door and stairs are. So that's all this guy has fucking shown me. And then some fucking cop shows up, thinks something's funny, like we're joking around, and gives me an order, but can't tell me, you know, under what authority he's giving that order. And there's nobody on the fucking damn planet that can give me an order. There's not one person.
You're a natural human being, man.
That's right. That's right. All authority comes from my creator. I'm naturally on this planet. I don't have to ask permission.
No matter time happened to me.
Right. I don't have to ask permission. Exactly. That's right on, brother. Yeah. I'm on the land. This is the land.
Yeah.
You know,
rules of the sea don't apply to me.
The rules of the sea don't apply on the land.
That's right.
Exactly. And you know what? If I'm on the sea, the same rules fucking apply. Nobody's gonna tell me shit.
Yeah, that's great.
But they especially aren't gonna tell me shit when they're just making things up to harass me for no reason out of thin air. So, what did you do? He left. But that's what they do, because that's what gets most people to stop. That's why there's no people here, because we're so close to the fucking truth that they can't handle it. I don't even want to go there and repeat the line. But they can't handle it.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's why they're not here.
That's why they live the lie. That's why they boost the lie, because the lie is easier for them than the truth. The truth is the hardest thing any man will ever deal with, or woman will deal with in their whole life. Is the truth.
This is the truth.
That's the
you
truth.
are a slave to the Federal Reserve Bank. I am too. I attempt to be less of a slave than anyone else, as much as I can.
Slave with a mind.
And
speaks for himself.
And these people, they have no legitimate authority. You ask them where they get their authority from. If you find out actually where they get their authority from, They get their authority from a bank in Switzerland, Basel, Switzerland, called the Bank for International Settlements. They set the rules. The rules are called Basel III. This is obvious. If people don't know this, they don't know jack shit. And most people don't know jack shit. But it's easy to find out, so there's no excuse for people being ignorant fucking dumbasses. And everybody who knows anything about me has been told that in redundancy. And you know what? Somebody smarter than me told me. And every day I learn something new from somebody smarter than me. And everybody I'm always talking to is always smarter than I am. It's just, I figure that out, and then I gain their knowledge and then move forward. Monarch mind control machine.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about that before I talked to you.
I
The
got
Federal
stories.
Reserve
I got
Bank?
stories of it. I got stories of that full thing.
I know.
There's a hospital right there. That was it.
I know.
Right after I was dressed in drag, dancing outside of it out of my mind after leaving a mental hospital.
Well, fair enough. Psychotechnologies exist. They were operating something called the Monarch mind control machine. People can do Google searches for United States patents and mind control machines. People can do Google search for Monarch mind control machine, Igor Smirnov, etc. And of course, Silver, you were talking about the Federal Reserve Bank long before I was. So I didn't know jack shit about the Federal Reserve Bank, other than there's something called the Federal Reserve Bank before you told me. So I didn't know shit before. But now I can connect the dots and say, what is it the Federal Reserve Bank does?
You might want to
It controls the money and it controls the minds. So there you go.
All right, later, mate.
And what did they do? Psychotechnologies, when they started, operating in Richmond, and they started sending that message out to the workers, bring us cake.
Yep.
Right. Okay. What were they there to do? They were there to privatize, to send it out, to put out bidders, to take Federal Reserve notes for their freaking mind control machine that emits high-pitched frequencies hidden through white noise.
Mimic people's thought patterns. And guess what? There's United States patents on it, and people are buying and selling them with lots and lots and lots of money. So if it's all a fraud and it's not real, it's real enough to bilk billions of dollars out of. So that's real. Yeah, it's real. It's out there. Yeah,
it's real. It's out there. It's real. It's out there, and we can get into the minutia of how certain tones evoke certain emotions, and applying the law of nuclear physics to things that are heard through the ears and right the vibrations. So we can get into the minutia of that and show how this is science, but we'll just talk about money since we're talking about the Federal Reserve Bank. Billions of dollars are bought and sold and traded in these mind control machines. So
if you had a corporation, you want to sell Coca-Cola or something, and then you can get this piece of this technology that
5.0 is really driving
drills like you love Coke in your head and you don't even know where it's coming from, and they pump it through something. They definitely would want a piece of that.
Keep an eye out.
People are buying Coca-Cola and have no idea what they're doing. Yeah, it's circling the block.
I'm watching the dude over there too.
So I mean, it's hard to say what the next step is. What do we do? I mean, we went up to Bilderberg. I mean, we started Occupy Richmond. I mean, what the hell happened with that?
They slandered you.
They slandered me, right? And then I quit. They failed to kick me out. After I quit, told them I didn't want to have anything to do with them anymore. And then really all they basically did was have another few more half-assed efforts to get rid of me, and then the freaking group imploded. What was the group for? Was it to oppose the Federal Reserve Bank and Dominion Power and Wall Street? Or was it to oppose the people who actually oppose the Federal Reserve Bank? So we already knew. I told everybody, because I negotiated with the Richmond Police Department, hey, this is a total government operation. I was contacted by the State Capitol Police before I knew anything about anything. I told everybody exactly what was going on. Nobody can lie and say that that wasn't happening, that people didn't know exactly what was going on, exactly who I was talking to in the police department, exactly I was talking to in the state police, who was directing all this shit. They all knew because I told them, and I said, I don't want to be the only one talking to these people. Then the freaking rats, the people who are Army intel, start saying that I'm the police informant. I don't inform the police of anything except for what the fuck to do.
Yeah, right.
And I film it.
The police don't even know what the Federal Reserve and all this stuff is. They have not a clue.
But the people who were infiltrating the movement, they knew what it was all about. Because it was the Federal Reserve Bank Police and the State Capitol Police and the FBI and the Richmond Police Department and the State Police and Homeland Security. It was all of them. And y'all seen those FOIA documents where they're saying that they were plotting assassination attempts. The Federal Reserve Bank Police were plotting to assassinate Occupy Richmond leaders. I wonder who they would want to take out.
Right.
The ones that are covering their back?
Didn't you have an assassination attempt too?
Yes.
So maybe that kind of goes.
Well, he is a lawyer, and that was kind of a plot amongst like
some
Democratic Party leaders.
Okay, yeah. Well, I know there's a shit ton of people that'd love to see me like eating worms.
Well, what I'm saying is that this is a call. I guess since the cameras are still rolling and they're pointing, I'll always talk in front of the camera.
Yeah, man. You didn't
do
it, man. That's like
this is a call.
Truth.
This is your call, people. People, this is your call. Your country is no more. There's no democracy. There's no Bill of Rights. There is no goodness. There's no United States of America. We are controlled by an international banking cartel in this country headed by the Federal Reserve Bank, which takes its marching orders from the Bank for International Settlements in Basel, Switzerland. It's all common knowledge. Just do a couple simple Google searches, pull your heads out of your asses, and do something for once. Find this stuff out. And your president, he's a puppet. Thank you, Glenn. The president is a puppet. The Congress, they're puppets.
Yeah.
They don't decide jack shit. They do what they're told by the banks. They don't know shit, they don't do shit. They're puppets on a string. Period. They've declared martial law. We're living in a martial law state. Whatever, for whatever reason they allow us to be out here, us four guys. They're allowing us to be out here. They shut down the city of Boston after a 19-year-old in a, during some sort of FBI, Federal Reserve Bank plot to bomb the Boston Marathon. They shut down the fourth largest metropolitan area in the United States, going after a 19-year-old, started knocking on people's doors, taking people's guns away. Wake up. You got to do something. In redundancy, in Virginia state law, in the United States Constitution, it says, the only way we're going to have a free society is if the people come together and they're trained to arms. That's what we need. We need you. We need you out here. Go to every one of your government meetings. When I go to a government meeting here in the city of Richmond, and when I go to the state capitol, or when I stand out here in front of the Federal Reserve Bank, I've got a gun. Because, number one, that's my guarantee. If everyone else wants to ignore the Constitution or abdicate their guarantees, that's fine. I'm not going to. I'm not going to abdicate my guarantees. That's my right. Somebody else has a gun, it's my right to have a gun too. I'm not going to take anybody else's right to have a gun away, and nobody's going to take my right to have a gun away. Not one person. Go there, exercise your right, your First Amendment right. That's the right to free thought and free speech. And your Second Amendment right. That means, hey, if you want to shut me down, you want to shut us down too much, We do have a Second Amendment. That means that the people can come together and we can say, look, of course our government's a tyranny. Of course our government's criminal. Of course our government lies. What the fuck are we gonna do about that shit? What are we gonna do? Well, we gotta come together as people. You know, crack open that dictionary, look up certain words, honor, dignity, respect. Think about what those mean. Think about what you all do with your lives. And then join us. We'll be in touch. We will be in touch. You know, a lot of people are talking about this. Few are doing it. But we go and we say whatever we want to the government. And what I want to say is the truth. And when I talk to the government, I say directly, individuals naming their names. You're a criminal. This is why you're a criminal. And here's the proof. You belong in jail. We, the people, need to come together and execute arrest warrants. When I talk to the police, I tell the police, you guys are criminal. You guys swear an oath to uphold the Constitution, but you shred it. You have no respect for it, or you're too stupid to even read the document you swear an oath to uphold. So we need you. We need you, people. Get off your asses. You know, before it's too late. And even if it is too late already, don't go down like punk bitches. Do something. Do something with your lives. If you've never done something before. Like everyone else, I was in the dark before I got enlightened by people like Silver, Glenn, and Greg. I was in the dark. I was stupid too. But once I knew the truth, I wasn't so stupid that I was going to keep my mouth shut about it or do nothing. We need you all to do something. We'll be in touch soon. The General Assembly, it will be occupied again. It will be occupied by the true occupiers, by the people, by the true power in the government. People. All power under the law is vested and derived from the people. We'll be there. We'll be there at the General Assembly. We'll be up in Maryland. We'll be around the state of Virginia. We'll be wherever we have to be. Come out and do something for once. Thank you.